Earlier today, Raila Odinga arrived from South Africa straight to Kamukunji grounds, and it was clear from his tone that he was speaking with great anger. From where I sat, it was clear to me what has happened. Recently, during the homecoming of CS Eliud Owalo in Rarieda, Siaya Governor James Orengo announced that he had spoken to Raila Odinga just an hour earlier. He then went ahead to request President William Ruto, who was seated, to talk to Raila Odinga for the sake of peace and development in the country. When President William Ruto stood to speak, he steered clear of that request as if he never heard about it. It was clear to me from then that wherever Raila Odinga was, he must be writhing with anger. After a few days, something emerged called a whistleblower's electoral results. But it is not lost on us that earlier Raila Odinga had promised us that in January he would release a bombshell. He promised he will give direction. It is clear that he was waiting for these results from wherever they were being manufactured. But the rage of today had nothing to do with those results that were being manufactured. Those ones were now just a tool to be appropriately used in this coincidence. It was President William Ruto's refusal to accept the handshake that Orengo had requested that made son of Jaramogi be very angry. He was too angry even to go to his house to freshen up. He was too hungry even to go to his house for a change of clothes. Because he wanted a handshake. He wanted to be in government so that he can block his political opponents from Luo Nyanza from getting into that government. Raila Odinga's intention in the handshake was not to bring prosperity to Kenyans, to bring enabling environment for development. Neither was it to bring peace to Kenyans. In any case, Raila doesn't care about peace. Today was the day in which schools were opening. New toddlers were beginning to go to school. But he didn't care. He still had his rally anyway. I do not understand how on a Monday when schools are opening, anyone anywhere would have a political rally in town. Nevertheless, for him the stakes are very high. When his kingdom, the Luo land, is under threat, he would do anything in and out of the book to hold it down. Raila Odinga's intention anywhere now, in the past or in future, has never been to become the president of the Republic of Kenya, has never been to be Kenya's leader. He has always wanted to keep the Luo in the cage. The purported fight for the presidency is simply to keep the Luo caged, believing that Raila Odinga is leading a common cause for the Luo nation. It is very clear that after the last general election, the Luos were getting tired. They were not willing to fight from Raila Odinga's corner. He had to devise a way of dealing with this scenario, and that way is simple: create a formidable external enemy to gain internal cohesion. For any cultic following to succeed, there has to be a formidable enemy. Whether the cultic following is religious, social, or political. Even in religious cultic following, an enemy must be created in the form of Satan or whatever it is. In order to deal with Raila Odinga, he must be kept fighting for the control of Luo land and this fight must be led by Luos. For if anybody outside Luoland fights Raila Odinga, the Luo sees it as an attack on them. The Luos, which have now been kept largely uneducated and poor, are easily controlled. There was a man who once said, people who are educated are easy to govern, but difficult to enslave. The Luo are practically enslaved. The Luo are practically in Raila Odinga's jail. They never even bring him to account. He would talk to them, promise them the world, deliver nothing, but they don't want him questioned. Deliver nothing, but he never returns to explain himself. He just throws new promises and set new goals for them to achieve. If Raila Odinga really was interested in peace in Kenya, in development in Kenya, in electoral reforms in Kenya, in political reforms in Kenya, this definitely was not the right route. Even in the so-called electoral theft, Raila Odinga has the opportunity to petition Parliament for a commission of inquiry. He has not attempted that and failed to come back and go to the streets. You cannot fight for democracy. You cannot fight for the rule of law. And when these opportunities come, you choose the streets. That is hypocrisy. Right now, it is very clear that Raila Odinga wants to regain his strength within Luoland. Because this is one place where people would pay anything to Raila Odinga just to have a handshake. They would pay anything just to have a photo session with Raila Odinga. This is one place he would request for a chopper, and they will deliver them fighting over each other. This is a business Raila Odinga cannot afford to let go. Only death will make him part with this business kingdom. This is one region where elected leaders tell you that they need Raila Odinga's permission to work with a legitimately elected government of the day. It is sad. It sounds like Luo Nyanza has seceded into its own country with its own president in the name of Raila Odinga. This is a region where all governors are compliant, all speakers are loyal, all MCAs are captured. It is sad. This is one region where the people have no choice of who they elect. They elect Raila Odinga's choices. They have no leaders of their own. The leaders they have are appointed by Raila Odinga. It is time they realized that they were in jail. It is time they knew they need to free themselves and take back their rights to elect their own leaders. For the government of the day today to deal with Raila Odinga's shenanigans, he needs to be kept busy in Luoland. He needs to be pinned on the ground, fighting for his political survival in Luoland. Raila Odinga will not fight for political survival anywhere in Kenya except in Luoland. That is where the battle should be. And that battle must be led by fellow Luos. Anybody from outside will be seen as attacking the Luo. May God bless Kenya. May God bless the Luo. May God open the eyes of the Luos. May God free them. Amen.